This month, we're going to be talking about anxiety. So, over 8 million people in the UK are reported to be suffering with anxiety, and the number is actually much, much more than that. It's one of the most common mental health problems that we suffer with. It's very, very common, and it's very, very normal, and it's very, very appropriate at certain times in our lives. But it can become all consuming, it can become out of control, and it can make us really miserable. Anxiety is actually a really common word, and it's often confused with a couple of other mental health difficulties, and they are stress and worry. So, stress and worry can be part of anxiety, they can feature in anxiety, but they are actually different from anxiety. When we think about being stressed, essentially we're thinking that more is being asked of us than we have resource for. So you might have a to-do list as long as your arm and be thinking, how on earth am I going to get to the bottom of this to-do list? I've got too much to do and it's really stressing me out. So you have more to do than you feel that you have resource for. That's stress. The worries are thoughts about something that hasn't happened yet. So you might think, oh, I've got a big presentation coming up at work. I really, really want it to go well, but I'm really worried that I'm going to stumble over my words or forget what to say. So you're worried that it's going to go wrong. You're worrying that something in the future isn't going to happen how you would like it to. So it's a thought. That's a worry. Anxiety is an all body experience based on fear. So, quite often, at the root of an anxious response is a fear about something. So, you might think, oh, I've become quite anxious in crowded places. But underneath that might be a fear of not being able to get out. So, if there's a danger, if there's a threat, I won't be able to get away from it. So, essentially, a fear for your safety and a fear for your life. I'm sure everyone can think of a time that they've felt anxious about something in their lives. They might remember their hearts pounding, shortness of breath, sweaty palms, butterflies in their stomach, feeling really scared or worried about something. So, most of us have experienced an anxious reaction at some point in our lives, and we can generally handle those if they're quite infrequent. But when they start to become more frequent, more chronic, more long term, more enduring, that's when anxiety starts to become a problem. Anxiety comes with a lot of physical symptoms as well as mental ones. So, like I say, heart racing, sweaty palms, shortness of breath, headaches, things like aches and pains in your shoulders or in your limbs, in your back, shaking, twitching, developing tics. There are so many ways that people can experience anxiety within their bodies. Sometimes they experience kind of an internal buzzing or a vibration through their body or something like that. And then often that leads to more worries about the anxiety. So we might start to worry about what are these things happening in my body? And the anxiety can then quite easily hook into your health. And then kind of becomes this cycle of the anxiety getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So what started as one worry, one feeling of anxiety, one fear about something has now grown into an anxiety about the body. And because the experience is so unpleasant, often then people start to feel anxious about feeling anxious. They start to fear the fear, worry that they're going to worry. And it becomes this kind of massive, all consuming, all encompassing experience. So, what can happen long term with anxiety is this real stress, this real strain on our minds and on our bodies. So, we might start to become withdrawn, not wanting to see people, not wanting to go out, not wanting to expose ourselves to anything that we find anxiety provoking or scary. So, very quickly, life can become very, very small, and we're living in this kind of bubble and not engaging with the world. But physically, it has a real impact on our bodies. So it can lead to long-term health conditions, things like diabetes, stomach ulcers, heart conditions, lowered immunity. So you're more likely to pick up viruses because you're not functioning at the level that you should be. Luckily, there's lots that we can do to help manage and lessen our anxiety, things that we can do to try and get to know it better, understand why it's here, what it's trying to tell us about things that we're thinking and feeling at the moment, understand our bodies better and how they react to things. So there are lots of opportunities with anxiety actually to help get to know ourselves better and start living in a healthier way, I suppose. So this month we're going to be looking at how to do that, how to get to know it better, things that you can do to try and help manage it, and looking a little bit at why it is that we have anxiety, what purpose does it serve? So I'll see you next week to get started.